Alright folks, here we are with one of the weirdest matchups that I sixth sensed out, and I'm going to talk about what's happening in just a moment. But spawning here in the lower left corner of Neoplanet S. Playing for FXO, it is the GSL, it is the real, not a smurf, red Zerg player, Lucky.
And the top right is opponent, SCA, Lucky?
Yeah, StarCraft Ascension. Now, I want to find out the probe game very early really only means one thing. Now, the question is, what is it going to be? Double proxy Stargate? Is it going to be the soccer push that's becoming more and more popular? Or is it, oh, he's just going to hide it up here?
Is this real?
I don't know, man. Like, this is actually not a bad choice. When you know you're up against a player of this caliber, sometimes cheese is the best answer.
It sometimes is, but sometimes this pylon should be just in your base.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
we'll see what happens. I mean, if he can catch him off guard. The thing is, though, like every Zerg player in his life that has gotten to this stage of StarCraft notoriety, he has fought this cheese before. He'll know how to deal with this. I was trying to put this up on screen before, but I couldn't. Guys, to make matters worse, here's the 101 Dalmatians Lucky. The mascot of this match.
And here we have the moment that the gateway is revealed.
Now, you know what? Right now, Lucky, if he got in there, he could actually block the possibility of a second one coming out, but we don't have an assimilator. This isn't going to be Stalkers. I'm wondering why he chose to go with probes. This actually, you know what? This isn't even a dedicated all-in. This is really stupid to phrase like that. Yeah.
It's just pressure. It's perhaps he can force an overreaction out of Lucky.
It's a Zealot rush is what it is. And you know what? Actually, I do recall a little while ago we had him do something similar. Lucky ended up Forge Fast expanding behind us. Well, it's hard to call it a Forge Fast expand when you go for the gateway first like this, but putting cannons down here actually helps a lot. Zergling run-bys get very limited, and if Lucky can't break out of his base, you know, no Zerg player wants to play on one base.
No, and this is kind of forcing him, but the one Zealot, what can it really do? It might get like worker. That would even get a worker.
Well, for now, all he has to do is make sure it doesn't lose more than shields. Keep poking, do what he can. They'll come back again and again and again. There we go, the Forge coming down behind us. So, I mean, Lucky is playing the long game. This is kind of, in my eyes, another version of, like, you know when you go for the Forge Fast expand and you put one pylon, one cannon to deny the natural? Same sort of logic. He's doing it with Zealots instead of cannons. Now, Lucky's got to be very careful, because these Lings, I mean, they don't even really need to fight these Zealots. They could just go counter-offensive if the wall's not up in time.
He really should keep up the pressure, because as soon as these things are too much, they will just run past him. Then suddenly it's a no different story. But for now, SCA Lucky is doing a great job containing his opponent. And
oh, you're gonna be a good caster and actually differentiate between the two. I see.
Okay.
I plan to just be like Lucky's. Well, Lucky's currently getting surrounded by Lucky. We got the Lings. They're not so lucky. No, I'm sorry. I'll stop right there. But Zealot's actually doing a ton of damage. The Queen will clean this up a lot better than the Lings will. And we actually have this... This is abandoned at this point. He hasn't kept the probe down here. Normally... Well, not normally, but sometimes you'll see the follow-up with a pylon with a couple cannons to go down hand-in-hand with this. But he is going to actually just play this safe at home. And this is really cool because he's actually denied the natural for so long at this point and been able to take the same sort of Forge Fast Expand route.
Yeah, it's like... Obviously it's delayed, but... Yeah, what can Lucky actually do here? There's still four Zealots up.
Not to mention he can fight between the mineral lines if he needs to. This Queen is off creep. Lucky might actually lose his Queen if he's not careful. And that could be quite devastating. An important unit like that this early in the game, as Zealots are going to take a ton of damage.
But the speed kicks in and Lucky just gets surrounded. The Queen lives and...
Yeah, this can be dealt with. It's a huge delay, but guys, you got to keep in mind, the typical Zerg response to Forge Fast Expand, 3 early Nexus, or sorry, hatcheries. What's he going to do this game? He's going to have one very delayed hatchery with a ton of speedlings on the field. So this was actually really cool.
And it's also a full wall-up.
Now, unfortunately, SCA Lucky lost a ton of resources trying to get this out, but he's ahead in probes right now. When the second Nexus completes, he's going to start chronoing as well, and he'll be perfectly fine. My big question is, does he follow this up with your standard Protoss build? You know, go for the Phoenixes, bait out the Hydras, get the Colossus, or is he going to do something really funky? And I really feel his best bet is to abuse the new Warp Prism mechanics versus this Zerg player who probably hasn't had too many games versus the Speed Prisms yet.
Yeah,
Despite
I really doubt
he is.
Zerg for standard Protoss play because he made the full wall in. Like, he's not gonna really kill his cybernetics or his forge. It's probably gonna be the pound if he wants to get out. Second cannon gets dropped. It's probably a bit paranoia about an all-in, which is a fair assumption. But yeah, Lucky is just taking a third base and macroing this out.
It's a great choice too. Again, this is, if we were to play a regular game, rewind 5 minutes, like this is where we would be at type thing. But it's all delayed. But it's delayed to the effect where our Protoss player is much further ahead than he should be. Now it's not by a lot, and it's not like, oh my god, he auto wins the game, he's so far ahead. But it did give him that little bit of an edge, which might just make or break the game later on.
Yeah, but the best situation, well, in this situation, he's so far ahead on workers that the best thing you can do is just follow it up with a strong gateway timing. And yeah, there we go. We got 3 extra gates going down, but we probably will see a couple of extra, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm a little bit curious here. I mean, okay, so we talk a lot about what the Protoss Lucky is going to do. Let's analyze what FXOLucky can do. I mean, he's expanded. He's played this about as standard gets, but if there's one really good unit, I was actually going to go for the Roach one. I was going to say, if there's one really good unit tearing down and getting around this cannon and the lack of units that'll be on the field, Mutalisks. Not a lot of them, mind you, but enough of them that he could just dance around the base all day. I think would be a great response to this. Because he's got to know, like, he's been in there with the Overlord. He sees, like, okay, he's just now getting gateways up. There's no way there's going to be enough Stalkers or Sentries or anything to shut down some Mutalisk Karask.
Yeah, that's a good point, but what if there's an attack while the Spire is built?
Right, yeah, I know, it's kind of that risky.
Yeah, but in this situation you have to, like, think it's a best of one. You just got, so, like, we call it semi-cheesed, I guess. It was only 1 gate instead of 2, but yeah, it's a bit of a complicated situation, like how you transition out of this, but we see a bunch of sentries. We see the Robo finished, making an observer, but nothing really, like, out of the ordinary.
Well, he's starting to take his pylon down, and he's got a lot of sentries. And Neoplanet S, it's not a map that has a lot of small chokes. There's a lot of, I mean, there's only like 2 main attack corridors, but there's not a lot of chokes in them. So he's going to have to use a lot of force fields if he wants to make these very effective. Now, okay, this is because he's going to take the third. Alright, that makes sense. So say, moving out with 5 sentries, going for an attack like that this early, even 7 sentries, not really the smartest choice, but establishing a third is definitely what he needs to do. Now, of course, he's going to be very careful. This third is vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a good choice, but you can still wall off at the rocks. You can wall it off with some gateways, and then just take a more position between natural and third. But here's some links trying to put some pressure on this third base, but that's not going to do too much. In the meanwhile, roaches are out for FXOLucky, and yeah, we'll see what they can make of it. And the macro hatch. Do you think with this macro hatch job that he's going just for?
That really says you're going to go for pressure. I mean, because typically you'd put that at a 4th, but it's Neoplanet S. You don't really get a 4th very easily here. Or rather, you don't hold on to it. So if he's going to put this larva hatchery, the macro hatchery, it's going to get scouted though. Will Lucky know that this means aggression?
We also have Burrow.
Burrow could actually be really nice. Roaches are already hard enough to deal with as is, if you're healing them up between waves as well. I mean, the Immortals, they're nice, but if they gotta keep shooting full health roaches, it's not gonna go too well. Actually, you know what, Tumbling Claws would be pretty cool too, if you want to try and get past a lot of the force fields. Because, of course, Tumbling Claws go right underneath them.
Oh, I like this though, like keeping the Mothership Core down there to get vision, and then keeping his army on a very defensive position. Very nice.
Yeah, more Immortals coming out. This Roach army is not looking too scary, I have to say.
No, it's not looking scary yet, but there's already 2 Immortals out.
Lucky's got to be careful though. I mean, these force fields are going to make or break this game. Alright, well, he gets a good shot. He gets all the legs almost. Really nicely done. Maybe a few too many force fields, but there's more than enough Immortals. It's the Lings that are the threat. You know, distracting the Immortals for even a second. But now 3 Immortals can start popping these roaches. 1, 1, 1. Just bam, bam, bam. But I want to point out, too, FXOLucky has an insane amount of creep spread and 5 bases now. This is looking really good for him. He's getting that map control. He's asserting some dominance in this game. And SCALucky is forced to just kind of, 12 Mutalisks on the way, but double Stargates as the response.
Yeah, really nice scout there with the hallucinated Phoenix, and I do feel the targets are slightly too late for the Mutas though.
Well,
He's gonna have a hard time catching up.
He's going to be able to hold the first wave. I mean, Guardian Shield affects everything, including the Mutalisk Glaive bounces, so he's going to be able to minimize the damage quite significantly. I think if he can just hold on until he gets some Phoenixes out in the field, he'll be perfectly fine. Because, I mean, what he does on the ground can take on the ground of the Zerg player, no problem. It's just a matter of dealing with those Mutalisks. Now, a couple cannons come down.
Yeah, and here's the big disappointment. The War Prism with speed is still slower than Mutalisks.
Yeah, sad to say, but can't be too OP. Now, cannons are going to get in here. They're going to deter this a little bit, but Lucky is actually moving away. He needs his Stalkers. He needs his sentries inside.
He needs everything.
Photon overcharge.
Oh god.
That's really bad. Losing the Mothership Core like that. Now he doesn't have the recall capability to get up here to the North Base. Which is...
Man, he really needs that.
Oh, there's so many Lings here, Nova. This is disgusting. There's a couple of cannons, but I mean, it's not going to be enough.
Go for the base.
Yeah. Roach is coming from the side. The Immortal's going to take this, but now the Mutalisks are free to come into the natural once more. Phoenixes are trying to come out. No Chrono Boost going down. There are 2 on the field, but 2 is not enough to deal with this. Stalkers now warping in underneath.
Yeah,
I mean, this is...
enough.
He's actually force-fielded off the Nexus at the third. I love that. He actually managed to hold on to this. Zerglings are going crazy trying to get past the cannons, but he actually holds these bases, taking relatively low losses. 13 workers killed, a couple of sentries. Gonna lose these Phoenixes sadly on the cannons, though.
He's having good micro on the Phoenixes, but as we said, like, it's too low of a Phoenix count to make any difference to these Mutas, and there we go, the last Phoenix falls, and...
Oh, another one pops out. I mean, the Nexus isn't in danger going down, but it was the probes that were in the danger, and he managed to kill enough of them to really make that attack worth it. If he had gotten the third base too, that would have just been so far gone. But Lucky, SCALucky, with those clutch force fields, held on. But at this point, you know, half of the map literally is purple.
Yeah, and what he really should do is like use that backdoor alley to try and pressure this base on the 9 o'clock position with some zealots and try to deviate some focus from FXOLucky over there, because now he's so busy dealing with these Mutas.
Yeah, Lings are running right up into the base. Once again, this Nexus is going to fall this time. There is absolutely no saving it, and these cannons are not going to be enough. But of course, leaving to defend now, the Mutalisks can come in once more. There's 5 Phoenixes this time, though. This is a lot better than last time.
Yeah, if he would have sent a couple of zealots to the 9 o'clock base, those Lings would be busy with the zealots rather than with his base, and then perhaps he could have held on, but...
Oh no, right into the Mutalisks! Checking the resources log is surprisingly even, but Lucky is so far down in probes, and so far down in supply.
Yeah, and FXOLucky is on 5 bases, and he has... Yeah, he's approaching the dangerous Muta count. He has 36.
We actually have Anion Pulse Crystals on the way, and right now, they're barely outranging the Mutalisks, and they cannot outrange Corruptors. But with the Anion Pulse Crystals, they severely outrange the Mutalisks and barely outrange the Corruptors. So these Phoenixes are going to get better and better the more Lucky dedicates to his Air Force. But that is still so many Mutalisks, and no Archons, no Storms on the field.
Yeah, it's still 36 Mutas, and the Zerg can switch to... He's adding Corruptors already.
Oh, Zerg's going to run into the main! A great swap! I mean, he's been hitting with Mutalisks this whole time. Lucky, FXOLucky, gonna get right in here. There are a couple of cannons of Zealot warping in, but the Mutalisks still at the third base. The gateways are now depowered. Phoenix is doing what they can, but I mean, was that 1-0 versus 0-0? Yeah.
Yeah, and with the Corruptors being added, it's gonna make the job for the...
No cancel on that Nexus
harder
either.
and harder. Oh.
You know what? As soon as he starts taking out these Mutalisks, this is where SCALucky can start to respond with some attacks. He's been on the defense. He's been jumping between 2 bases this entire game. A good blink forward is going to catch some of these Corruptors.
Yeah, and that's what he needs. It needs something like that. But the Phoenix are still pretty low. He only has 5 remaining.
Because he's investing so much in his army, he can't afford to remake this third base. He needs this third base so badly.
Yeah, and remember, FXOLucky is just making 9 meters at a time, and it's so painful to watch.
Yeah.
Again, there's 8 Phoenix now again on the map. Perhaps he can make something happen with it, but he really needs that third base again.
The multitasking of our Zerg player this game has been phenomenal. I mean, hitting the natural with the Mutalisks 3 times and swapping it up. Suddenly it's Lings and they run right into the main. Oh, same problem once again. Not a full wall off. And I don't know why at this point. He's not producing any ground units from his base. You think he would have gone for a wall off.
FXOLucky just refuses to fight and just goes every time for that counter attack, and it's been paying off.
SCALucky's just gonna push, going for a bit of a trade here. Can't say that I can understand this. It's not gonna go too well with the Mutalisks.
Yeah, the Midas are just gonna come back at some point and... Oh, hold on. Maybe the Phoenix can make something happen, but...
He's got the Onion Pulse Crystals, he's using that range to his advantage, but there's only 6 of them.
Yeah, and the Midas will kill most of the base before the Phoenix would have killed off all the Midas, and that's the problem.
And still no Mothership Core, so no chance of recall, no defensive anything. This is pretty much all or nothing. And I don't know, does SCALucky, he knows there are 5 bases on the field, so he's really just sprinting is the best way to describe this. The Immortals are shredding these Spine Crawlers. Is it going to be enough? The Stalkers and the Force Fields, or sorry, the Guardian Shields have to be enough to take on the Mutalisks, but there's so damn many. 45 Mutalisks are one-shotting these Colossi. Oh my god, some hallucinations, a really smart choice! But it's not enough.
Really cool.
It's not enough.
Unfortunately, it's not enough, and actually perhaps he could have used hallucinated Phoenix with his actual Phoenix before.
I don't know, but either way, GG is called. Well played.
Yeah.